2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. I kind of feel bad for everyone. The reason why I say that is I ordered this 2 weeks ago. Actually, a hair less than 2 weeks ago. And it was shipped and delivered to me just the other day. So I've been testing it for about 48 hours now. This is the Creator 5 by Flashforge. Honestly, setup was flawless. Simple, quick, easy. Pop this in, a couple screws, the front screen, pop it right on, which is really cool. Is it's like a PCIe card for your graphics card. The tab just pops right in, and there's two screws that go down. That was honestly all the other printers. That was really great. There's a handful of good things about this. As you can see, though, there's a few things that went wrong. My first print was a batch of these little guys, little grumpy ducks I make. 6 of these ran. This was the stock tower. And honestly, flawless, perfect, no issues. A couple adjustments I made on my end to do this, but this was actually my benchmark. I don't have any close-ups. I do have my Benji, and this came from my U1 right down there. Love it. Great printer. No problems at all. Both 12 millimeter layer height, and really can't complain. All the details are there. No shifting, no nothing. Both are great printers. Couple things. I have a failed print right in front of me. Now, this threw me off guard. Ran through a batch of this, like I said, 8 hours for 6 of these. Awesome, flawless. I put on another batch of another product, and same color combination, everything else, and it failed. And not so much the model that I'm printing failed, it was more of what looks like the tower. I don't know why it failed. I don't really see it to whack itself. I didn't see anything that was, everything looks clean. I don't see anything. But this failed, shifted, and the prints came out, but there was so much stringing coming in out of every item I made. So thrown off guard, because I don't touch my bed. I have gloves on when I did that. Go on to the next one. I just went to the next one, right to PLA, nothing else. And I had issues. So that was a bit concerning. Go off a couple pros. The design, I think, is great. Like I said, plug and play, pop it in, go forward. Toolhead goes to each one. The initialization was very easy, great, seamless, connecting to the phone, the Wi-Fi. I had no issues on that end. Now the light I know might be, shuddering in the or blinking in the picture, but this is like a really interesting crisp blue light. It's not white, it's like blue. Going over, I actually had this conversation with one of my buddies because we were going back and forth. How's the U1? It's probably gonna be better than this. And honestly, to me, they have their plus and minuses. Not knocking the U1. Like I said, this came out months ago though. The U1 came way before this. They both were just released at the same time. I would love to have head-to-head competition on that. That isn't this. Flashforge had a little bit of time to work on their product, I feel like. So that gave them maybe a little bit of leeway. We don't know what the R&D department's really like in these manufacturers. What do they discuss? Do they have inside? They're all made from the same areas pretty much. So maybe they know someone. Maybe they have spies. Who knows? There could be people inside looking around, checking what they're doing, how they're doing it differently, and how can we change it up. Regardless, moving forward, I had this conversation, like I said, with my buddy. I went forward and sent a print. Like I said, this one that failed. The only thing I changed, okay, was the color of the filament. So right here was white. When it was just starting up, I sent that file, I selected the white, even though I know I need to change that to orange. I ran over to this printer, and this actually was really nice. I went over, and on these heads, so if you press this in, okay, this is the for the extruder gear tensioner, and if you press it in, it's a cutter. So if it's already pretty much welded to itself down below, cool down, heated, stuck, you can just press this all the way in, and it'll click and it cuts. And you just rip it right out, slap the new one in, and all you're gonna do is press this in. You're not gonna press all the way in hard. because then you're moving the cutter. Just press it in to relieve the tension, slide it in. You hear, not really here, but you feel kind of like a little slip and a pop kind of spot. You know the filament's in, and that's it. I, I was shocked. I was excited, actually, to say the least. That was really cool. And now that could be the thing that we can fight about, right? U1, each one has a full tool head. Each one's going to heat up. Each one's going to unload with the feeder system. Now, I love the feeder system. I think it's great. Considering how this operates, this just works actually the way it is. So I can't complain on that. I feel these are two different tool changers alone. And it's just how the format is. It's still a great printer. Slap the new one in, and before it did the flow calibration, by the way, these are magnetic. There's two pins that sit in. You're just literally sliding right up, holds in. There's no locking in or anything like that, really. So yeah, pull it out, pull it, push it in, pop it in, done. Great. Other than that, not bad. It just prints, besides the failure. Now, I don't know if it's due to the bed where it is that it's heating. Maybe that could be the reason why the tower didn't stick or hold long term. Now this print also, by the way, was 24 hours. The prior one was 8 hours. So the other one I made had 6 more models on it, and it took 24 hours. I don't know if there was a reason behind it just losing adhesion for long term. Now, as you see too, I changed to cone. This is technically in the slicer for Flashforge. This is cone. This is just the normal prime tower it has. Maybe this is why there's less footprint. I needed that though, because the models were so large and trying to get as many as I can as possible. I had to go smaller. That could be on me, but still, it's an option for me to pick. I went this size for a reason, and it didn't work. So, here's what it is. Just me going forward, go with the bigger prime tower. But the thing is too, is that we're down to 256 millimeter cubed. U1 has 270 millimeters cubed. Add that to the con list, right? 270 gave me that little bit extra to play with. I can throw a few more models on, especially if you're one of those people who have a print farm or you're trying to print out a bunch of little things. I do a lot of charity work. So I give to kids in needs, I give to hospitals, I give over to a lot of pediatric offices, just to put smiles on kids' faces. That's what I like to do. So to me, there's not enough money to not put a smile on a kid's face. So anyways, for me, I need to have more volume. Not so much height, but the volume of the bed X and Y. So having that 270 enabled me to actually put more models on going forward. So smaller prime tower helps greatly on that. Next on my con list is that, and I'm not there yet, but I can't upgrade this to a Pro. From what I read, I don't have the circuitry or the ability to put the fans in, run the heater as well, or even have a circulation to begin with. For the little bit more I spent, I enjoyed actually having the glass door and the back panel in the U1. And I'm going to use the U1 because there is nothing else out there at the moment that compares in value in the operation of having 4 tool changers. So right now, that's where I'm standing. I have a cat, and it was easy as me printing out an adapter and putting a Walmart lid for well under $25 total. So that's what's great about my U1. This, my back's open, front of course, and the top. Could I get a top and probably do another Walmart thing with a tote? Probably. What do I do about the front and the back? That's what kind of concerns me. What happens if my cat jumps on here? It's not so much ruining the print. What happens if I hurt the animal? That's a concern. Yeah, I could throw it in a closet. I could throw this somewhere else. But our social life shouldn't be really, distorted by that so much to say. I didn't buy a bed slinger for that reason. It's a Core XY. You have the ability to put a shell around this easily because it's designed around it. Kind of a little bummed by that. I kind of wish they gave you the option to at least buy in the panel kit, but like anything else, they're whipping them out left and right. They want to sell their pros. They don't want to sell you this. Besides the Pro at the moment, just to start building sales, because if you bought this with the panel kit, probably just that, they wouldn't sell as many Pros, so to say. I feel like that's my opinion. I'll give my 2 cents. I'm gonna be raw and honest about it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. By the way, I bought this with my own money. No one's sponsoring me. I'll talk as much good and bad as all I want. Pretty much from there. Second con, this is strictly cloud. I don't see, unless it's hidden behind something, I don't see an Ethernet cable. I have no jack for this. I can't just plug this into my network and be on LAN mode. The poop, okay? Flashforge, where's my bucket? Why don't I have a bucket? I have pictures, and after my first print and this one, what looks like on the bed is on the bottom of my bed. This was all just down here. I will say, actually, there you go. So I saved it. This is the flow calibration when it checks. This is as long as it gets. Okay, it just dumps it. There it is. It just dumps it. Okay, that's what this does. Yes, flow calibration, got it. Purging, do what you gotta do. I don't understand though why you would give us a product and know where to collect this. Same thing. Say you got little kids, right? Being an adult, okay, put your printer somewhere else. But a lot of adults don't have that choice. A lot of people don't live in big places, so they want to actually enjoy the hobby, make something for their kid. But what if that got slung out or fell off the table and lands on the ground? Who's around? We're not surveillancing our kids 24/7. It just doesn't work that way. We're not even our kids' animals. It'd be nice to have. That's why I like the U one. There's a collection bin that just sits right below it, purges each one, pull it out, pop it again. So that will be my next mod, is probably on this. My first one will be a poop bucket. It's just sad that they didn't include one. Or why didn't they have a preloaded model to give us something? God bless the community. We have a lot of great people in the community in general. Doesn't matter where you stand, Bambu, Snapmaker, Flashforge. I really like the community of 3D printing because everyone's getting their creativity going and they like making different things. And there's already a few on there I noticed to download. So cool. Actually, there was another one. Don't know the name of the guy. I just saw it scrolling. The guy was actually making a full kit for a hat, panels, everything. I was like, that's really awesome. I just love watching that. Moving on to the next thing. Not so much a con, but I personally had issues with my 85X. Now, it shouldn't bother most people, I would assume, but for me, why do I have full plastic PTFE connectors right here? These actually popped out fairly well with my fingers. These are really jagged and tiny, so you don't have the ease of just using your fingers to pop it out. U1 has oversized little lips, so you can press it with your finger easily. Yeah, you could print a tool, but some people want that quick. They don't want to print a tool. They just want to quickly use their finger, press it in, pop it out. This isn't easy. The 85X, I had so much issues and it was so tight. Even with the tool, I almost started having issues. And call it user error. Say whatever you want. But yeah. So from there, there needs to be a disclaimer, by the way. The first firmware update, I literally thought I lost my whole printer for a second because when I updated the firmware, everything was showing perfectly fine. And after doing a firmware update, I normally always do a whole calibration. Two things, Flashforge. One, please put a disclaimer when you update that if you have to power cycle your unit, what's going to happen, or what when you do these firmware updates, what should you do? For a lot of new users, they might be a little shell shocked. For me, like I was going into, I tried doing a calibration. By the way, I really wish there was a full calibration option rather than each single one being separated and just be nice and convenient. But regardless, I did a bed leveling and did the whole bed mesh, everything. Came back, went to my slicer, looked, and as I was about to send it over, it read 0 on everything. Everything was almost blank. It didn't detect a filament, didn't do anything. And I was kind of shocked because right before the bed mesh, it read all that. I didn't have any issues, but I didn't want to send a print right after a firmware update and have it score my bed or have issues. So after that firmware update and doing the bed leveling, I saw that and I got worried. I was like, great. I did a quick little research. One guy actually had an issue where his MCU was totally destroyed by that firmware update, actually. So he's getting a new board from Flashforge. So that's what kind of worried me. So I said, you know what, let me power cycle it, see what happens. Did that, started back up, and the first thing that came up on there was MCU updating. So like I said, there was no disclaimer telling me that's what's going to happen. But it's good to know that's probably what's going to happen, like a Windows update, right? Update Windows, turns power on, turns back on, tells you it's installing, initializing, doing its thing. So it did that, loaded up, did the initialization, and then from there, everything started reading. I did another calibration just to be safe. Other than that, that's pretty much it. To be honest, where I stand, 0 out of 5, if I had to rate it, I'm about 4.5 right now. You know, I'd say I'm pretty much near a 5, but I think about 4.5. I think my U1, I'm around the same too. Like I said, they both have their mixes of pros and cons. I'm not saying the U1's perfect. If you're around that park where you're really stretching for a couple bucks, then maybe the Creator 5 is a better selection for you. You do come with hardened steel nozzles already on this, so that is a big plus. But if you want the fact that you can get a U1 and have a little bit more automation, you have some more flexibility. The modding community is doing really well right now, giving you a few options. Jump to that. Spend a little bit more. I'm not going to tarnish and say the U1's not a good product. It's been quality product. I had only one issues, which was the prongs. Those failed on me, but I was 1,000 hours in. It was bound to happen, but yeah. Other than that, they were quick. They sent me parts, fixed it, good to go. Great, and never had issues after that. But yeah. So to say for this, we'll see where the next steps go. Maybe I'll throw another review out there if you guys want. Maybe an update, X amount of hours. I know there's tons of creators with these things right now, but at least on my end, I'll give you a true, honest review. I'm not going to try to sell you on this product. I'll just tell you how it is, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, you guys like this. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. God bless.